All right, everybody, welcome to the Mangalorian. We are now at volume 38 of the original Dragon Ball manga. This volume should be called, or could be called, Truth Revealed, because this is the manga where all of the foreshadowing from the previous volume all comes back into the forefront of everything, and we actually find out just what the heck is actually going on. This will set up the plot for the next few chapters and the next volume or so, leading to, of course, the hatching of Majin Buu, and then all hell breaks loose. Jordan, right there. I'm Danny. What's up, man?
I'm doing good, man.
All
Let's
right.
get into it. I'm excited. It's going to be a long stream, I'm sure, today, but I'm ready for it. Let's go.
It could be. First, I wanted to real quick promote that manga. I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can post the Google Drive link in the chat so people can just go and download it. Go ahead and tell them what this is all about.
Yeah, so this is a unofficial sequel to Cashman that me and my buddy Griffin worked on as like a homage to Toriyama. There's a character in the Cashman manga called Devil Kid who gets humiliated by Cashman, and this is essentially the story of him growing up and trying to get his revenge against Cashman. It's not completely finished. This is actually just part one of the manga, but we wanted to go ahead and release it to people. So he's going to post the Twitter link for you guys. It's free to read. You will need a CBZ reader to read it. It's not the raw files. It's in a comic format, so you will need a reader to read it. But we're giving it out for free, so there it is.
Free manga. So why say no to that? Griffin's a great artist, and should be.
He actually just went to Japan and got trained by an actual mangaka.
I want to talk to him about that when he gets back.
Yeah, he met and trained with an actual mangaka. He gave out copies of Keiko Daimon everywhere. He went to a bunch of doujin shops, manga shops, Dragon Ball centric shops, and gave out copies everywhere. He even went, and I don't know if he's told you about this, but he went and got, how Toriyama
I haven't talked to him at all. I haven't talked to him at all.
You know how Toriyama has that Adidas fit?
I think so.
The one that like he has like Gohan wear, the striped outfit that picture.
This one, the green.
Yeah. Griffin went and got one of those from the Adidas shop. I don't think it's green. I think it's white. But he went and got one.
He should have got the green one.
He went and got one of those from the shop, and then he gave the guy at the shop a copy of Keiko Daimon, and he was ecstatic about it. He loved it. He freaked out. But anyway, yeah, he had a good time. I think he's supposed to be back today. But yeah, definitely check that out, guys. We put a lot of hard work into that. It is kind of comedy centric. It's not necessarily all action like Dragon Ball. There is action, of course, but it's not your typical Dragon Ball fan work, right?
This guy says, "I thought you'd put it in the video description." I was going to,
but but we didn't get together till just 10. That's not his fault at all. Me and him have been very, very busy. We just got together like 10 minutes before the stream. Like we just haven't had time for all that. So,
yeah. So I guess I'll put it elsewhere. It says here, I looked at the live streams, but I didn't see the link for Journey to the West, but I began reading it currently on chapter 8. I don't know what
it's on Twitter. Get a hold of me. If you can't find it, get a hold of me on Twitter. I'll send you the link. Okay.
That's for Jeff. Okay.
Yeah. For Jeff.
Yeah. Now let's go ahead and move on here. Chapter 446, Dark Mage Babidi. So basically, the majority of this chapter, Supreme Kai Shin is explaining to Goku and everybody else just what is going on. He introduces the Warlock Madoshi Babidi. You can call him a Dark Mage, you can call him a Warlock, and basically discussing that his goal is to free this demonic being called Majin Buu, and that they are there to stop it. They needed energy. They needed the energy from fighters of the tournament. Gohan, when he powered up the Super Saiyan 2, gave them much energy. It was plentiful. They took the energy, but Supreme Kai and Kibito couldn't do anything because they were waiting for that to happen because they could not find Babidi. Babidi was hiding on Earth, and they couldn't find him. So now they're able to. The enemy's now been exposed because Sapopovich and Yam are going to go find him, are going to go to give the energy back because they have to now, and this is going to allow Goku to Shin and Goku to find Babidi. And of course Goku's willing to help because he can tell now that Shin's a good guy and that Majin Buu's a problem, and Goku on his one day back has to be counted on once again to help save the world. Gohan and Videl are also on their way, but they are behind. Vegeta's also going, but he's angry because he wanted his fight with Goku. He was matched up with Goku in the tournament, and now right before they fight, that rematch he had been waiting 7 years for, hell, longer than that. It's more like 11 years if you go all the way back to their first fight. Yeah, he was waiting all that time to rematch Goku, and it just got taken away from him. So he's not really in the best of moods, but I'm sure he won't do anything too rash, right? I mean, he'll be able to control himself, right?
Yeah, I do gotta say, the speed lines and like the way that they're flying together in this part of the manga, particularly, is like really epic. It's almost like movie like. Not that it's not epic in the anime, but I think the anime kind of makes it less epic because it's just like a moving sky, and it's just like they're all flying together, and it's just kind of bland in comparison. Like all of them like flying together and going to like face this like huge threat together. I think it's a really cool like image. It's like it's very movie like, it's very cinematic.
I agree. And I like that Toriyama's paneling here is very simple in that it's just a lot of widescreen shots. And that's why it's movie like. It looks like 16. Well, it's not 16 by 9, it's wider than that, but it looks like a widescreen movie theater in that, most of these boxes are like that. Obviously, not the ones down here. So Gohan did manage to catch up to them. So now they're all together right by this mountainside right here. And there we see, of course, the little bit of the ship poking up. And that because the ship is underground. Babidi, like Cell, decides to hide underground. And, it's a choice. So we got a super chat here. Let me get through these. 227060. How strong was Dabura before he got the Majin boost? It's never revealed. Probably not that strong because in Daima we found out that he couldn't even beat the Tamagamis, and the Tamagamis,
or his dad.
Yeah, well, I'm saying the reason why I bring up the Tamagamis, not Abra, is because we saw Goku and Vegeta fight them as kids, and then we find out at the end of Daima that they were really handcuffed power-wise as kids. So that means that Dabura was probably beneath Cell prior to the Majin boost. That's the best guess. Okay, next super chat from Junior. Shinsuke Nakamura, keep the Spurs from jingling. It's all inside jokes. All he does is just drop super chats that are inside jokes from other podcasts I've done that you don't even know. You don't even know. It's like when Text does it. Sleep says, I'm just waiting for someone to say Kid Buu is the strongest Buu. We haven't even gotten there yet, bro. I don't want to talk about Kid Buu anytime yet because we're going to get there. That's volume 42 because volume 42 is a lot of the Vegito stuff and Buuhan and Kid Buu. So we will be discussing that then at that point. So I like this part right here because we see Babidi and Dabura for the first time. Actually, Shin is shocked that he sees the Demon King Dabura with him. Of course, little did we know that Rinsu was also there, and but that's all stuff we found out in Daima. Yeah, and the fact that that Goma and them were watching it on their TiVo, on their DVR, gimmick, fast forwarding and rewinding the events of the Buu saga. So, and they land, here they are, and it says, Babidi possessed Dabura, the king of the demons. So this is where they establish that the M on your forehead means that you've been basically possessed or under the control of Babidi, even though you're not really under the control if you're strong enough to break out of it, which we'll discuss later. I think a lot of people think that the M stands for Majin. In fact, I'm willing to bet most people probably thought that was the case. I always thought that when I found out that Babidi's Japanese name, the Japanese word for Warlock is Madoshi, I thought the M might be from Madoshi. But here comes Dragon Ball Daima once again. Marba has the M on her outfit. So at this point, does the M stand for Marba, or is it just stand for Majin just because they're from the demon realm, or is it some kind of like cult? Like, what do you think?
I mean, I think it definitely stands for Majin, but I think that's because Marba herself is a Majin. I think essentially like Toriyama was just trying to keep in line with that Majin theme, even with Marba as a character, to be honest. But
yeah. I mean, it's maybe it really was Majin the entire time. You know what I mean? Like maybe that was what it meant the whole damn time. Yeah. So and I was just overthinking it. I don't know. Justin says, so wait, so Popovich and Yamu's master is Rachel Zegler, or as I call her, Mosquito Lady, because of her big ass eyes. And what's Darkness from Legend doing hanging around her?
Darkness, bro. That's a deep cut.
Is he talking about Legend with Tim Curry?
He's talking about Tom Cruise? The big Satan dude. Yeah, the big rubber, like the big like styrofoam looking rubber suit that he wore with the. Yeah, it does look a lot like that though. Like he's right.
Yeah. Darkness is the satanic character from Legend, which is a movie that came out like when was 82, 83, something like old. That.
I think
I've got that movie. Yeah, I have that film, and there's like 3 different cuts of it, and like the theatrical apparently leaves out a lot of details that the extended cut like fills in, but the extended cut's also really long. I don't remember, it's been a while, but that was really young Tom Cruise, bro. But as far as Rachel Zegler goes, I don't think Babidi. Look, Rachel Zegler's a very annoying human being, but even I would say if I had to pick between her and Babidi, bro, I mean, at least she's a woman.
Obvious choice, yeah.
Yeah, and Babidi, I don't know, man. I wouldn't. She's got issues, bro, but I wouldn't say she's ugly. I wouldn't say that. Okay, so basically, there's some key things here that we should discuss. So basically, this is where the Supreme Kai explains to Goku that Dabura is the strongest in the demon realm, even though he's not, because he couldn't beat the Tamagamis, and he sure as shit ain't stronger than Neba, at least not with magic. Yeah, we know that. Look at this. Demon Universe, is that a real place? That would mean he's dangerous. He's a dangerous foe. It's a real place.
Yeah, it's like a mirror. I really like Toriyama's take on it because it is more like a mirror universe than like a separate realm. Like it is
it took us 30 years to get there, though.
It's like an anti-verse almost. I actually really like that, but personally.
Yeah, right. And then basically what now this is interesting right here. What Shin says is he's not strong himself, so he needs to manipulate others. Don't underestimate him, though. He has incredible magic, talking about Babidi.
Yeah, that's why Neva would be more powerful. It's the same thing. Like the whole reason that that he can manipulate Dabura is because he has he's very powerful as a magician at the same point. Now that does beg the question though, Neba or who's like more powerful between Neba and Babidi, but I would definitely say that Neba's more powerful. But
No, I think Neba's way more powerful. Like, bro, Neba unlocked Super Saiyan 4. Like,
yeah,
you think getting the Majin boost is an upgrade in power? Shit. No,
yeah.
Neba's
Oh,
the
that's true.
strongest
Yeah, that's
magician
actually a really good point. That's a really good point.
outside of the god tier characters. Neba might be the strongest magician, or
Yeah,
outside of those with the third eye, because that changes everything. So
true. Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
here he
even
talks
then,
about,
even with the third eye, like the evil Purunga, like flicked, you know. Yeah, so it's like,
and
yeah,
that and Neba created it.
yeah, it's wild to think
Yeah.
about.
Right. And then Shin says that he was strong enough to take, to bend people to his will, including Dabura. So that's what this conversation's about.
Yeah,
See, now this is
it's not about power level. It's about what specifically the evil is in their hearts. Like he basically takes what makes them evil and he uses that to manipulate them. It's almost like he exaggerates what makes them evil, which we will definitely get to see an example of soon. But like
well,
he basically like takes the evil traits of a person and he exaggerates them, and that always ends up working out in his favor in terms of him manipulating them uh, until here in a few minutes. But
okay. Well, well, yes. Kibito here explains. He says Babidi manipulates them through the evil in their hearts to let them do what they think they wanted to do all
yeah,
along. Dabra was an obvious choice. So what this means is that Babidi basically, even if you're not an evil being, if you could be a good person, right, a genuinely good person, not a pure-hearted person, but a good person, and have an evil thought, whether it be you want to get revenge on someone or you want to hurt someone, or whatever. You could have I don't know if lust would count, because if that's the case, Master Roshi would be a hell of a fucking warrior for Babidi. But if he can take the evil in your heart and basically use that and pinpoint it and then totally take over you,
yeah,
and now we find out a lot more about this later, but the whole thing is, that they're establishing to us the kind of enemy that they're dealing with. This is a guy who can create an army of soldiers. As long as they have a little bit of evil in their heart, they will follow him like
and
a
I
cult.
remember I freaked out over this actually. Like whenever I first saw this, like playing out, and they were playing on the whole evil in people's hearts thing, it like I loved it. Like it freaked me out because one of my favorite sections of Dragon Ball was whenever Goku was, getting hit by the Devil Might Beam. One of my favorite aspects of Dragon Ball in general is how they constantly hound on the fact that Goku is pure of heart, and they hadn't really talked about that much in a long time in the series by this point. So I like that they were bringing that whole thing back. It's really nostalgic. It really kind of brings everything back to OG Dragon Ball. So I always loved that they played on that here.
Yeah, it's about the pure heart, and if there's evil in your heart. And really, when you look at this, Toriyama was kind of playing the long game when it came to once again showing us, the audience, the difference between Goku and Vegeta. Of course, by the end of this arc, Vegeta's story arc, character arc, would actually be complete. And then he would finally, see the light. But prior to that, it just goes to show that even though it's been 7 years since Vegeta has seen Goku alive, he never let it go. He's a very petty man, which is why I say that Vegeta is very beta. Like this, Vegeta is not an alpha. He doesn't become an alpha until after he goes through his arc. He's
Yeah.
very much a little bitch who can't accept the fact that Goku's stronger than him. And in this volume, his complete envy and his obsession. You know, there's a guy out there who's maybe worse than Vegeta when it comes to me. There's a guy out there who's envious of me, and it's to the point where it's an obsession. And I haven't talked to the dude in years, but he just talks about me every single day, all day. So I have my own Vegeta. The difference is that this dude's never going to have an arc. So he's never going to change. I don't know why I thought of that now just today, but it's quite funny that there are people like that in the real world, and they're very, very pathetic. They're very pathetic. So they have all the energy here, and that's enough. Babidi no longer needs him, and it's almost like this is scary. This was actually pretty gruesome to see in the anime, and it's actually more gruesome than in the manga. He straight up, look at this blood. He makes this motherfucker implode from the inside. Like, he used his magic to just do like spontaneous human combustion and blew him up, bro. Yeah, like, dude. That right there is basically them telling the audience, yo, like, be careful. These guys are crafty.
Yeah. Like, he just blew up his own minion because he didn't need him anymore. With magic too, which is that's not the same. That's not the same as seeing Frieza blow somebody away with a ki blast. Like, he literally made the dude implode like something in a horror movie, you know?
From the inside out. And then look what he says. He went boom. I never tire of that sound.
Yeah, apparently he enjoys blowing people up. He's an evil dude.
And then homeboy here tries to get away. Right? He tries to get away. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. And here comes Pui Pui. Very interesting design for Pui Pui. One that, again, I find it funny that people were, when Majin Buu was first revealed, remember those dumbasses that were shitting on his design?
Dude,
and they were like, Dragon Ball Z never had designs like that. And I'm like, here's one.
Somebody posted a fixed version of his design, and it cringed me so much because they essentially just made him like look like every other villain, where he's
every
got, like,
other character.
Yeah, it's like,
another cell.
Please stop, you know. But yeah, like and in hindsight, like Majin Buu both became really like loved characters, so it worked out great.
Yep. Xavier says this Piccolo Jr. is fused, or though Piccolo Jr. is hold on. Okay, yeah. Though Piccolo Jr. is fused with Nail and Kami at this point, I still think it would have been interesting if Piccolo became Majin and fought Gohan or something. I mean, maybe, but then maybe that would have taken away from the Vegeta thing we're going to get to. 227060 says, for Vegeta, the M stands for midlife crisis. I mean, possibly, man.
Yeah, I can see it.
By the time you get to Vegeta's age, he's in his mid-40s here, you need to get over shit. You shouldn't be envious of no fucking man in your mid-40s. If you are, bro, then there's something missing in your life, and I'd hate to be one of your loved ones. I really would. So this motherfucker tries to get away. Pui Pui blasts him, and he's gone. This is to show that these guys will kill their own minions. Now, this was not something that was commonly shown to us by this point, but I think a lot of Dragon Ball fans think it was. Let me give you my example of what I mean. Piccolo, Demon King Piccolo, when he gave birth to his children, he never killed one of them on his own. He never did that. Frieza, in the manga, not the anime, Frieza never killed one of his own minions. That never happened in the manga. Go back and read it. I've done a short on it. He's never done it. In the anime, he did. In the manga, he did not. So, basically, this is not the first time, because Vegeta did turn on Nappa and Black did turn on Red and Red Ribbon, but it's the first time in a while we're seeing villains not give a shit about their own minions even.
Yep.
So, There's 7 of them. And I like how Dabura's crafty. Like he already knows something is up. And I love that like Dabura, like I love that he's very chill. And Toriyama's building him up to be something serious. And I feel like I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think Dabura is wasted potential. I think he could have done more in this arc. I think he could have been a better villain. I love like longer. I love all his different techniques, his magic. I love his Arabian inspired sword, his Jafar goatee, the flame breath. Like the dude is just a cool fucking villain. And
Yeah.
I like him a lot. And I do think that Toriyama killed him off a little bit too soon. I wish we would have seen more with him.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have seen more with him and Daima too. That would have been cool. But
yeah, well, 20 episodes. If they gave us more backstory, that would have been nice.
even
So
just
he
some
says,
combat, him fighting the Tamagamis would have been awesome. Just seeing him fight that would have been cool.
I agree. And failing, I guess, and failing. Hold on. Sway Shadow Man says, same with 17 and 18. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Same as far as what? Oh, 17 and 18 betraying the doctor. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, that's true, but that's the other way around. We're talking about the head villain killing off the minion. In 17 and 18's case, they weren't really
They were
like
supposed
20
to be the minions, and then they killed off the main villain. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm talking about more so like the villains that kill their own minions when they fail, that type of thing. So Dabura says there's 7 of them. They're hiding up there where they think we can't sense them. But even if we can't use Kibito and Kaioshin's energy, there are still the others. And then Babidi's happy about the reincarnation of Buu coming, or the release of Buu. I don't know if I call it a reincarnation. And then basically they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're going to go back in. Dabura says he's going to handle it. So this part is fucking awesome. This part is awesome. So Dabura steps up and takes and handles this shit on his own. Chapter 448, one must enter the tiger's den. He flies up right at Goku and the others with no fear. We got to give this guy credit. He did that with no fear, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's the king of the demons. I would think that he, had that
Yeah,
going
but
on.
it's still badass. And this
It is
panel
badass.
right here, this panel is awesome, bro. He gets right in this motherfucker's face, bro. Hand right in his face. I always like this.
Yeah,
And
it's scary.
and he blows him away. Sadistic look right here, look of fear on Kibito, blows him to smithereens. We have our first casualty, not including Sapopovich, our first casualty on the good side. Kibito is gone.
Yeah.
Not good. Then he goes ahead and he spits. And the spit lands on Krillin's face, on Piccolo's clothing, and then they start to get hard. Pause. Turning into stone men. So he has the Medusa ability, except he can do it
By spitting on you.
by spitting on you. Right. That's pretty awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a first attack from a new villain.
It shows that you're not dealing with the typical like sci-fi style villains. Like these guys are like, magic.
Yeah, we're now in the magic realm. Yeah, the sci-fi was last arc. Now we're really in the realm of magic, which is a different challenge. It's not just power now. Now we're talking about like different abilities that you have to figure out how to get around. So Junior says he knows we're here. Was that in the dub? I thought Gohan said that. I don't know. Justin says Dabura is essentially the General Grievous of Dragon Ball. well utilized in spin-off games, etc., and almost cannon fodder in the mainline material. I would somewhat agree because I wanted to see more of General Grievous, but they did give us more in the Clone Wars show. So maybe see, Daima was an opportunity for them to show us more of Dabura in combat, and we just didn't get it. So
Yeah.
I think that would have been the best opportunity. Like you said, him against the Tamagami or something like that.
Yeah.
Xavier says, I wish Piccolo got to fight Dabura as well. Yeah, man, Demon King versus Demon King.
Yeah, that'd been awesome.
That would have been something. You know, I'm actually kind of shocked that Justin didn't talk about this spit actually being baby oil that they took from the Diddy compound. I actually am shocked that he didn't go there this time, bro. He says, so essentially Krillin and Piccolo are stoned. Not as much as Jordan is right now, bro. I guarantee you that. So Krillin and Piccolo have now been turned to stone. It's down to Goku, Shin, Gohan, and Vegeta. He just laughs, and Shin warns them, don't break them because that'll be a problem. And now Goku is like, he basically says, you have to kill Dabura to make them become, you know, human again. And he's like, good. So there is a way. I thought it was going to be hard. So overconfident Goku again, you know, no, you don't have to think, bro. Just throw punches. So Goku has, I like the way Goku's drawn here because his face here almost looks evil. Like, not really, but you get my point, right? Like, he almost looks like he's thirsty for combat's what it is, but he's got like this. It's almost like he hasn't had a good fight in a long time.
Well, it's you know, at this point, Goku kind of has the excuse he needs to just go in and do whatever the heck he needs to do. It's not like, okay,
throw hands.
Yeah, it's not like with Cell where Goku was like, oh, Cell's really strong. I want to test to see if he's a worthy opponent for the future. That's not this. This is not that scenario. Goku is not in that headspace. He just sees Dabura as a threat, and he doesn't see Dabura as somebody like actually worth, like, you know, contending with in the future. Like, he actually just wants to take Dabura out because he's not thinking about Dabura's potential as a fighter at this point because he's seeing Dabura's potential as a fighter through the Majin mark. So he doesn't have to like he doesn't have to like pontificate on, you know, the potential that Dabura could have as a future training partner like he does with a lot of the other main villains. He's just like, no, we have our goal. Let's just take care of business, you know.
Yeah. No, Trenton, this is not Goku honing in his Goku Black, bro. Goku Black and Goku are nothing.
Goku makes those kind of faces like all throughout the manga sometimes. One misconception that people have about Goku, because he's pure of heart and he doesn't have any evil thoughts, is that like he's not like is that he's like incapable of doing like things that are I guess you could say not necessarily in the best taste, and he is capable of doing those things. Goku constantly has the urge for violence. The only reason that he doesn't have any evil thoughts is because he's been raised as a martial artist, and that purifies his intent. But that doesn't mean that as a Saiyan he doesn't have the constant urge to commit violent acts. And you can see that in his face all the time. Like, you can see it all the time. Like, he wants
what I like about Goku that he teaches Vegeta is that like you said, the urge to commit violence is always there because of their bloodline.
Yeah.
But Goku has been able to figure out how to manifest that violence in healthy ways.
Yeah.
And the healthy way to get that violence out is through combat, through martial arts. It's kind of like people who have anger issues. Like, I've had anger issues. And one of the things that is very good coping mechanisms for anger, because what happens when you have anger issues is you keep things bottled up and then you explode on people, and you can be a dick to people without meaning to. You can say things you don't mean. When I was younger, I I'm very guilty of this. But one of the things they did that is helpful is martial arts. Or if you don't want to take martial arts, get a punching bag and start hitting it and get the anger out that way. Then you get a nice little workout, get a little bit of a sweat going, and then that way you've got some exercise while also getting your anger out. For Goku and now later on Vegeta, they always want to be violent, but at least they want to do it in ways that is that where it's not just
productive and healthy
people.
and not destructive. Right.
And that's why they're always fighting each other and always training each other.
Yeah. And
by
Vegeta
the way, Jordan,
what's up?
Remember how in the intro of Daima they show Kid Goku and Vegeta sparring and we never got that scene?
Yeah, we saw them fighting. Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
It is messed up. But yeah, Vegeta expands on that here. He basically tells Shin and the audience, he's like, the reason that Goku is rushing off and the reason he has that face that you just pointed out is because the Saiyans are impatient when it comes to getting to be violent. I mean, that's just
and I love the relationship between these characters because here's kind of the relationship we're going to see in the next few chapters. Shin is like the voice of reason. Guys, calm down. Let's have a plan. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, let's think this through before we make a move. He's the chess player. And Goku and Vegeta are like, fuck that. I just want to go kick someone's ass. That's basically how it is. And we see that repeated over and over again. And what I love about it is the fact that Shin is literally a god of creation. He is literally a god. And these guys don't give a damn about his, deity status. Like, you're not going to control me, dude. That's basically their whole thing. And meanwhile, Shin is like trying to get everybody on one page. That's just not how they are, man. And I like that because it makes them more interesting.
It does.
I don't think people sometimes, and we talk about this on this stream series a lot, I think people don't even know why they like Dragon Ball sometimes. And I think one of the big reasons, and I want people to think about this, is that the main characters don't act like how main characters would in other shows. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Especially American shows.
Yeah, they're unique. And if you remove that uniqueness from their characters, it's not definitely not as appealing, for sure.
And Shin's like, I can't believe them. I can't believe. So they're going down. They're heading down to the ship. Of course, they're walking into a trap because that's Babidi did think this through somewhat, but neither Babidi nor Dabura know how strong these guys are. In fact, Shin doesn't even know how strong they are. This is the part of the manga where Shin first really gets to have a taste of how powerful these guys are, and they're just mortals. And I thought that was a very cool thing, how he's like, so wait, these mortals can surpass even gods? Of course, that would become a major story when in the Dragon Ball Renaissance with the character of Beerus and, of course, Goku Black and the whole mortals and gods kind of debate, and it kind of started here,
Yeah.
The Buu saga birthed a lot of the Dragon Ball Renaissance, like it really did.
It did, for real. Yeah. I mean, even like a lot of the fan artists, like a lot of the fan manga people, including Toyotaro, they say that they emulate and think about this arc over all other arcs. So yeah, it did have a huge impact, for sure.
Do you think Shin is an impotent god? No, they don't have sex, bro. They don't have sperm. So he's not impotent because he doesn't have any sperm anyways. Remember, they're born from the trees in the Glen world. So anyways, you decided to join us, to prevent you from doing anything foolish. I love that back and forth. Like, that's going to work. And then Vegeta's like, I could destroy this ship. As if we do that, the shock might be enough to release Majin Buu, which makes me wonder why Vegeta didn't just say, okay, bum, 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 bum. Oh,
right.
He meant to say incompetent, bro. You butchered that spelling. I thought he said impotent, like he can't, like he doesn't have any sperm, like he's shooting blanks. But he meant to say incompetent. Brother, of course he's incompetent. Go to Geekdom 101, my YouTube channel, and go find a video I did about Shin during Super where I talked about how horrible he is at his job. He is a terrible, terrible god. He's
Yeah.
not good at it, bro.
Yeah, it's not necessarily all his fault, but yes, he is not good at his job at all.
Yeah, we know because there's other universes like 1, 5, 8, and 12 that have higher mortal rankings because they are good at their jobs.
Yeah.
And Shin and Beerus are just not. And again, that makes them more interesting. If they were just perfect, there's no growth for them. I like the fact that they suck at their jobs because it allows for more comedy. And if they were good at their jobs, then Universe 7 would never have been the tournament of power anyways. Yeah. So they have to suck to make things happen. So here comes Pui Pui. And what's happening here is this is basically Toriyama once again doing what he did in the Red Ribbon Army saga for Muscle Tower, which is doing the pagoda, taking us all the way back to Bruce Lee in the Game of Death. Now, Jordan and I talked about this in detail during the Red Ribbon Army Muscle Tower manga volumes. So make sure you go back and check those out because we talked about the pagoda. We talked about how many different video games and movies have borrowed it, but it's the levels, man. It's the levels. You know, it's the levels. You don't have to apologize for your bad spelling. It's just funny because I thought you were actually asking if the dude was shooting blanks. Like he can't impregnate. Chapter 449, the game. Not of death, because we can't say that. That's copyrighted, but we can say the game. So now the energy is being given to Buu. It's still not enough, though. They need more. So Goku and Vegeta have fallen for the trap because the idea is that they're going to get the energy from them in here. And maybe Gohan. They don't care how they get it, but they're going to get it.
Yeah.
If I knew they were capable of getting that much energy in such a short portion of time, I wouldn't have killed them this quick. Now he's regretting killing Sapopovich and them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, with those three fighting, we'll probably get what we need. If all goes well, Buu may be resurrected this very day. So,
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a lot of Ivan Ooze. You remember Ivan Ooze?
Of course, from the Power Rangers movie, but what part reminds you of Ivan Ooze?
Just the egg thing and like Ivan Ooze being like a gooey like themed character. You know what I mean? Like it just reminds me a lot of that. Like he comes out of the egg. He's like an ancient primordial evil villain that's like that dethrones.
He does come out of an egg.
He comes out of an egg. He also dethrones Rita, who was a spellcaster. She was a witch.
And Zed.
Yeah, and which was and they were trying to manipulate him. It's just it's very, very similar to the.
And remember, he's mad because when he was locked up in that egg, he missed the Spanish Inquisition and the Brady Bunch reunion.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious. That movie's actually underrated. I actually think the movie's awesome.
The movie,
a lot of that. Like sitting here thinking about it, there's a lot actually.
I think Power Rangers the movie is a fun movie. It's a fun, easy kid popcorn flick. But man, the CGI during the with the Zords.
Yeah.
I mean, people, when we do the Sentai streams on Twitch, they always ask me if I've seen modern Sentai. And I always tell them no, because the CGI turns me off. It all started there.
It looks like video game CGI almost.
But like really bad, though.
Like
really
PS4.
bad.
Yeah.
Like I like when it's mostly puppets, costumes, and practical effects with a little bit of CGI. Nowadays, it's mostly CGI with a little bit of costumes, and it's just not as good.
Right.
It doesn't look real, bro. And the CGI is not like Marvel or something like that. They don't have those budgets. It's like cheap Japanese CGI. You're not going to get Thanos to come to life, you know. So they're playing rock, paper, scissors, the classic Toriyama gag that he carried over from Dr. Slump, and Vegeta wins rock, paper, scissors. He's up first to fight Pui Pui. Okay, these episodes and these chapters are a lot of fun. And look at what Pui Pui says to Vegeta, of all people. I told you once before, you're not going to leave here alive. The damages you'll receive will become energy absorbed by this room. It'll be used to revive Buu. I guess I don't have to worry. If I don't get hurt, I won't lose energy. That's right. But that's not going to happen. Pui Pui is a confident dude, bro. Now, would you say Pui Pui is another like reference to the xenomorph from Alien because of his big ass head?
Yeah, he definitely looks like a xenomorph, but I think that honestly, I think if you want, in terms of like where I think his head was at, Toriyama's head when he was creating the character, I think he just wanted to create a character for Vegeta to fight.
I know that, but I meant more so how he looks.
Yeah, but I think part of his aesthetics are to like complement like the type of people that Vegeta used to fight, like the Frieza Force and stuff like that. You know,
when he was younger.
I think Pui Pui as a character is designed to complement the type of people that Vegeta is used to killing and fighting and stuff. So
now I want to talk a little bit about Pui Pui's name here, because if you read the Viz translation of the Dragon Ball manga, his name in that is Pocus. And it's like, well, is it Pui Pui or is it Pocus? It's actually both. So in Japan, the word hocus pocus doesn't exist. Their version of hocus pocus is ching ching pui pui. So Toriyama took the pui pui part out of it, and that's like, take off the hocus. So pocus is actually, it still should be pui pui, but they're both
the Japanese version of it. Yeah,
they're rooted in the same pun, if that makes sense.
Right.
Which happens a lot in Dragon Ball, man. Like we've talked about this in the past. Like, you know, in Daima, the Tamagamis are just called ball gods. So if you're a kid in Japan watching this, and you're not like somebody who is from outside the country, when you hear Tamagami, you just think ball gods. You don't think that's their name, you know. And that's something I had a discussion about that over on Laser Kids podcast. Check out the community tab, y'all. I did a really long discussion on the Simuldub Saints podcast, and we talked about translating Japanese manga and anime to English, and how sometimes these things are difficult to do because you're then left with what do you like? Do you keep the name in Japanese because it sounds cooler, or do you actually translate it literally? Like when Beerus does Hakai, do you call it Hakai or do you call it destroy?
Yeah.
Or do you call it destroy? If you're Japanese and Beerus just goes Hakai, your brain is registering it as, oh, he just said destroy. But for us, Hakai is a title. It's a technique. And it is a technique. So, you know, that's why, like, when it comes to translating things from Japan, there are going to be difficulties because there's sometimes there's 5 or 6 different ways to do things, and they can all be right.
Yeah, I've been watching these reels of these 2 kids that teach people about Japanese, and it's a wild language for real.
Well, it's 3 alphabets.
Well, one of the things that I recently learned, which I thought was wild, is that there's a certain term that they use for birds, and they use that same term specifically for rabbits only, and this is so weird. It's only because they wanted to classify rabbits as birds to get around the Buddhist rule of only being able, like, not being able to eat them, which is weird. Like, they essentially, so like within the Japanese language, rabbits are classified as birds, which is so weird to think about. It's like, what the heck?
And when do you happen to know, like, because that sounds like something from like thousands of years ago that just stayed.
Yeah, that is
because nowadays it doesn't matter because rabbits and birds are,
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Rabbits and birds are both edible. So yeah, like have you ever had rabbit?
Yeah, unfortunately. I actually used to work on a rabbit farm, and I basically lived with the guy that I worked for. My job was to feed the rabbits, and I got attached to him. Like, I went out and I was feeding them every day, so I got attached to him. And one day my boss was like, "We're gonna eat one of those rabbits today," and I was like, "Oh God." I was like, "Well, don't tell me which one. I don't want anything. I don't want to
Well,
know anything
you'll
about it."
know you'll know when you go out there the next day and you'll see the one that's missing.
I hated it because I only took like one bite and I couldn't eat it. But I hated it not because I don't think it's necessarily because rabbit tastes bad or whatever. I could taste the feed that I fed them
That's
all the time.
bad. That's
Yeah,
bad.
when I took a
That's
bite of
not
the
good.
meat, I was like, "Oh, this tastes like the feed that I feed them. Oh, this is disgusting," and I wouldn't eat it after that. But
Well,
like,
that's
yes,
because that's why you got to get your food grass fed, grass finished.
yeah,
It's more
yeah,
expensive, but it's healthier.
yeah,
Well, I'm just gonna say this: rabbits are very cute and very adorable. I have seen rabbits get skinned. I don't like it, but I am gonna admit that I've had it and it's pretty tasty. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Rabbit
Maybe if I
tastes
had
like
a good version of it, it would have been good, but it wasn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't had rabbit since I was goddamn like 8 or 9, maybe no, maybe like 12. I was a kid, and it tastes like chicken except better. It's like a better version of chicken.
Interesting.
But I don't like thinking about it. I just pretend I'm eating chicken because I don't like thinking because they're just little furry, like
The
they're
rodents, yeah.
harmless.
Yeah.
And you see them skin. I don't even want to get into that, bro. It's fucked up. There's
Yeah.
footage online that you can look up for that, and it's if you have a soft spot for animals, you ever
And I
eat
do.
snake? So somebody asked if I've ever eaten snake. Jordan, do you count eel as a snake?
No. No.
Really? Because
Yeah,
they
no.
look like snakes.
They look like them, but they're an entirely different species. They're not the same thing.
I love eel is great. I can't say I've eaten snake, but I have eaten eel. Yeah, we are off topic. Let's get back to it. So Pui Pui is over here trying to hammer Vegeta. Vegeta kicks him away, knocks him into the thing. He's hurt. Now, he's just fucking with him at this point. Vegeta kicks him up, knocks him up into the air. Pui Pui's in danger. Vegeta comes in with this incredible combo, just owning this man, owning him. So Babidi is like, well, we need to do something about this. And so he does pa pa da pa, and he takes him to Pui Pui's world of zero gravity. Obviously, gravity training is the one thing Goku and Vegeta have done more than anything at this point, except maybe
Yeah.
the Spirit in Time. And yeah, and so right here, Shin explains to the audience and to us, to the audience and to Gohan, that Babidi can transport you to different places or make places look. Actually, he's not transporting you. He's making the place look like and feel like another place.
Yeah. Which is
When,
really cool, honestly.
yeah, it is. It's that's one of those things that can only be explained by it's magic. That's it.
Yeah.
He can just do it. It's like you're there, but you're still on the ship. So he's missing teeth, bro. He's bleeding. And now he's like, this place is 10 times Earth's gravity. 10 times Earth's gravity, bro. That was a challenge for Goku like 3 arcs ago. And Vegeta's just like, is that all you can come up
That's so
with?
dumb. Yeah.
No, is that all you can come up with is 10 times gravity? Then he comes in and he does the move he did on
This
Bulma in
is
the
classic.
bathtub.
This is
Yeah, that's the
classic.
move he did on Bulma in the bathtub, except his hands didn't blow her away. And then just straight up smokes him, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, he
dude.
smoked him, dude. He didn't even have to transform.
Yeah. Yeah, Pui Pui was a jobber.
That damn Babidi giving me a boring opponent. Hey, look, the hole's opened up. Let's go down to the next level. Dun, 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 dun,
Like a
dun.
video game. Yeah.
Yeah, he says it's like a video game. This is stupid. Let's go, Kaioshin. And then he's just in awe of the power. Now we're moving on to the next level. And of course, Dabura says he's confident and maybe a little too confident. Stage 2's Yakon. So this is one of my favorite things. You know I'm a mark for when Toriyama does this. This is Toriyama's diagram of the Babidi spaceship.
Yeah.
I love when he does this. He's actually, and the anime did show this for just a brief second, but in the manga, you actually, unless you pause the anime, but in the manga, you have time to actually look at it here. And Toriyama has labeled all the different rooms and different levels and whatnot here.
Yeah, he put a lot of thought into that.
Yeah. I mean, it's Babidi's room, Dabura's room, all the different levels are here, and then Majin Buu's all the way at the bottom. And then these are the entrances for when the ship is outside the underground. I've always thought this was cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Especially in color. Because he color codes, like the people that colored the manga color coded all of these little sections.
Yeah.
So somebody saying no sound, no audio. That has to be you, bro, because they've been listening. They would have told us that at the beginning of the stream. You know what I mean? If that was really the case. Okay, so moving on, he's going to use Yakon. And then he's like, that early? And he's like, we shouldn't underestimate these Earthlings. They did, after all, defeat Pui Pui without any effort. Now, something I want to bring up is there's supposed to be 5 levels to this. That means that there are fighters in that ship that never got to fight. We never found out who they were.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
They're just, I guess, hanging out over here in the soldiers' room and just chilling. Like, we only got to see a few of them. So he goes to get Yakon. And it's Goku's turn. They're debating. They're arguing with each other. You know, and then Vegeta's already saying, already this early, Vegeta can sense that Dabura is not that strong. That he's not that strong.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying about Goku earlier. Goku, okay, here's something that I just want to expand on that a little bit. Goku, when he acts like, I guess you could say when he acts out, you know, like he does against certain villains like Frieza or Cell, where he he's craving like a future fight with them. That's because he's getting excited when he fights them. And then his Saiyan nature comes out and he's like, oh God, I want more of this. You know, that's not there with Dabura at all. It's literally not there. He's like, nah, this dude, like he literally sees Dabura as kind of a joke, you know, which is interesting.
But there's a couple other things going on here too, is when Vegeta says that Dabura's not that strong, Toriyama has not yet shown us how strong Vegeta or Goku have gotten in the past 7 years. That's still being kept in his back pocket. So while maybe during the Cell Saga, Dabura would have been a difficult opponent, a challenging one for certain, at this point, after 7 years of training, after 7 years of training, they've hit level, and again, Toriyama has not shown us that yet.
No, he's just hyping it up slowly,
little by little, foreshadowing. We haven't even seen them get serious yet. Nobody has come along yet to make them get serious. Okay. Justin says, why does Babidi's ship have a conference room? Does he work at Wall Street? I guess they talk things out. I don't fucking know, bro. Maybe it's not originally his ship. Maybe it belonged to some like space fucking tax agent and they just stole it from him. I don't know. Also, I forgot to get this super chat earlier, bro. Xavier said, do you agree the Saiyans stronger than Frieza in base? At this point, absolutely. Frieza's nothing at this point in the series until Resurrection F. Sasuke says, Super Perfect Cell versus Dabura. I've already done the video, bro. Go watch the video. I did the video literally weeks ago. Geekdom 101. The answer, Dabura versus Cell. I've already done it. Check it out. It is up. I go into every possibility you could ever go through. Anyways, I can't believe the Saiyans are that strong. But thinking about it, Gohan was powerful back then. But what if that wasn't his full strength? Well, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the tournament, probably not his full strength. But what we don't know yet is we don't know Goku and Vegeta. And what Toriyama's kind of hiding for a little bit is the fact that they have surpassed Gohan. But we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that when we get there. So here comes Yakon. I like this alien design. It's very simple. It reminds me of, like you said, like this looks like an alien that Vegeta and Nappa would have fought during their adventures on some planet.
Always, I don't know why, but it always reminded me of whenever Jabba the Hutt like trapped Luke and he had to fight the Rancor. Like it reminds me of that. I don't know why. I guess it's just because of the big hulking beast and like being trapped in that room and everything.
Yeah. Right. And also, you know what this reminds me of, bro? I'm gonna give you a random thing I'm about to say. Have you ever seen Pumpkinhead?
Yeah.
This reminds me of Pumpkinhead a little bit.
Yeah, I could see it. Everybody, you know what? It's a lot like a lot of those like practical effects monsters from those like 90s horror films. Like it reminds me a lot of them.
Yeah, Stan Winston era shit, like the 80s, the 80s and 90s. Which one of you should I eat first? Goku's like, I'll fight you. And then over here, Supreme Kai is once again sweating. He goes to attack Goku. Goku dodges. They're going at it. He's like, that was close. He's pretty fast for his size. Let's help Goku. You know, and then, oh, no, I'll handle it. Those claws are retractable. Okay, we're learning a little bit here. You know, and then now Babidi gives the order, kill them all except for Kaioshin, take all of their energy. That will be more than enough to revive Buu. Now, the good thing about Yakon is he has the ability to take energy without using that little device that Sapopovich had.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get to that here. So everything goes pitch black, and they can't see Yakon, but Yakon can see them. Imagine how terrifying this must be, bro. Like, unless you're Goku, who's like super strong, but if you're just a regular person and you're trapped in a room with a monster and it's pitch black and he can see you and you can't see him, you're pretty much fodder. But then Goku can sense him, bro. You don't need your eyes in the martial arts if you can sense. So he dodges, he kicks him, and then Goku turns on Super Saiyan, not just to turn it on, but because it creates an artificial light.
Yeah, this is what we find out. This is where we find out that Super Saiyan is light energy, which is cool.
But do you think it's kind of wacky that it's being used as a fucking flashlight basically here?
I think it's cool because Toriyama has talked about how, like, under normal circumstances, you can't see somebody's ki. So to me, this kind of it reflects the idea that they have so much ki that it's visible, and that's what he's always been implying. Basically, this is like Toriyama's way of physically telling you what he's implying through the art when he draws the auras, and I think that's cool. You know?
Yes, for sure. So what happens is Goku goes Super Saiyan, and this is the first time that Babidi and Dabura have seen this. Obviously the first time, not the first time Shin saw it, but the first time he's seen Goku do it. And now the room is not dark anymore, but of course Yakon might be in trouble. And this is where now they're sensing the energy that Goku's transmitting out. So they're just shocked as to how strong they are as Super Saiyans. So then Yakon starts to suck the light away, like literally suck the light away. And he manages to actually suck Goku out of Super Saiyan. That's right. He sucks Goku out of Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I always thought this was a pretty cool ability, bro.
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
the
almost like a
original.
precursor to Moro.
Yeah, he's the original energy eater. Yeah.
I would have loved it if we saw more characters like Yakon, except stronger. Like, can you imagine if there was a story arc where they fought like an army of these things and they just kept gobbling up their energy? And then they have to
Yeah.
figure out, like, oh, what do we do? We have to beat them
That's
with
some
our
horror
base
movie shit
forms.
right there. Yeah.
I like it though. It's very, again, it's creative. It's different, you know? And now he's gotten stronger because that's his snack. He snacked on that energy. Gohan says, don't turn to a Super Saiyan. It's light energy. And then Goku's like, okay, I'll feed you again. And then everyone's like, Gohan's like, you want me to help? He's like, nah, I got it. So he goes Super Saiyan again. And then right here, Vegeta realizes that Goku has some kind of plan. Shin doesn't know, but Vegeta knows that Goku's not a fool. So he starts to suck Goku's light out. And then what happens is Goku powers up for the first time. This is the first time we've seen it, to Super Saiyan 2. So Goku now has tapped into Super Saiyan 2, which was not called Super Saiyan 2 yet, but he now has the form that Gohan had back in the Cell Saga. What do you think about the way they revealed this? I'll be honest, I didn't like this when I was younger. Now as an adult, I'm kind of cool with it, but when I first saw it, I thought there could have been a much better way to have done this. But now I'm fine with it.
If Super Saiyan 2 is where it ended in terms of like his progress and power, then yeah, it would have been kind of aggravating. I think knowing that Super Saiyan 3 is on the horizon kind of helps make this more digestible.
Well, wait, why do you think if 2 was the max, that was it? Like, what makes you believe that? Like, what?
Because if 2 was his max, then I would want a more epic introduction.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But since it's not his max and I know that 3 is coming, it makes it more digestible. So
where's the lightning? He sucked it, bro. Don't you see him? Don't you see him sucking it? So he fucking takes all that Super Saiyan 2 energy and explodes. That was Goku's plan. I'll give him what he wants. But you know what? That's not really much of a fight.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not really like
the
kind of fight Goku likes to have.
When Goku saw Yakon, he was definitely disappointed. Like literally, like a panel before he came out, Goku was like, "All right, it's my turn. Who's next?" And then he has to deal with this, and it's like that would be disappointing. So
for Goku, for certain. Justin says Yakon reminds me of like Jordan said, the Rancor or Jared Fogle, or as I call him, the monster from Subway. Well, Jared Fogle, even after eating 6 inches subs, even after that, he never got as thin as Yakon, bro. So he never quite got that thin. Also, I think Jared Fogle is much uglier. And then Justin
yeah, he's disturbing looking.
He goes on to say, Goku made Yakon pop like he was Chi-Chi's cherry. Come on, bro. Well, I don't think Goku had to transform for that one, but still. Yes, he did. I mean, that. Are you saying that Chi-Chi's eyeball was fucking like. Maybe it was, bro. So he's dead. And I like how people say shit like, oh, this is, Goku's other confirmed kill in the series. And it's like, yeah, what about all those Red Ribbon guys that he killed?
Or the other monster that he killed in Muscle Tower.
Yeah, Bouillon. Well, Red Ribbon, I count that as a Red Ribbon guy. So
yeah.
Frontal Lobe says Mangalorian series has been so fun, and I always look forward to it. What would have really happened if Vegeta would have blown the ship up? That's a good question. What do you think? I'm gonna let you go with this one, handle this one. If Vegeta did blow the ship up, what do you think would have happened?
I mean, it seems like Majin Buu's egg relies on like the ship and technology in order to like absorb the energy. It doesn't seem like it absorbs the energy naturally. So Buu might not have ever woken up, and all the villains in the ship probably would have died, and everybody else probably would have survived. Now Shin may have not have. I don't know. Shin, I would think, would survive, but it just depends on how much power Vegeta puts into destroying the ship.
I
But
feel
like,
like Gohan would have saved Shin. Gohan would have grabbed him and let's get out of here.
yeah, I mean, it would have taken care of everything in one. I think it would have prevented everything because, like I said, I think Boo's egg does rely on technology in order to absorb that energy. So,
Yeah, you don't think that the energy Vegeta put into the ship would have been able to be harnessed, but also not, to add to what you're saying, I don't think I don't think it would take Vegeta all that much energy to blow up a ship.
no,
At this point, Vegeta is far beyond solar system level. This is for him to blow up that ship, dude. He doesn't even have to go Super Saiyan. So,
right.
like I don't even think, honestly, yeah, I think that the villains would have been fucked. I think Dabura could have maybe survived and maybe would have fought Goku and gotten killed there or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe Babidi would have escaped somehow, but that would have definitely changed the entire arc, really.
Yeah.
And it's something so simple, too. It's not even like that crazy of a what if. If Quinn were still doing YouTube full time, I would ask him to do it. Air Dog says, would Vegeta still have gone Majin without this? Without what?
Eventually, yeah. I mean, the evil in Vegeta's heart is not from this scenario. Like it was there regardless. So yeah.
Wait a minute. But I don't understand what he means without this. Without what?
He thinks the frustration of the situation is what makes Vegeta go Majin, which is not the case. It's just the evil in Vegeta's heart. It is exaggerated and
But Vegeta can't go. But Vegeta can't go Majin without Babidi's energy.
yeah. I don't think he's saying that Babidi wouldn't help. He's talking about the specific situation that Vegeta's in right now, right before he goes Majin. Whenever he gets frustrated because he can't fight Goku, and he's getting visibly angry and stuff like that, and then Babidi catches on to the fact that he's got evil in his heart because he gets angry because he doesn't get to fight Goku, right? Like that's the whole reason that they catch on to it, is because they notice that Vegeta is like getting angry. But I think they would have caught on to it anyway. Like I think they would have figured it out eventually anyway, that he had evil in his heart.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing Goku turn SS2. We just answered that, bro. And like what Jordan said, yeah, one thing led to another. There could have been something else, but Vegeta was still frustrated, and actually, he allowed himself to become Majin to close the gap. We're gonna talk about that here in just a minute. So, give me 1 second. Justin Sullivan says, another thing, Goku's win on Yakon is the first win he got since Frieza Saga. Of course, I'm not counting his sparring match with Trunks. No, that's not really a sparring match either way. That's him doing the finger thing with the sword.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call that a sparring match. But Vegeta. So here's what's going on. So Vegeta has now, and this is confirmation, by the way, that it's Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to debate this with me and lose, there's confirmation. Vegeta says it looks like Kakarot can exceed the level of Super Saiyan. So now we know that Gohan has been able to do it, and now Goku has done it. But notice how chill Vegeta is. Notice that he's chill. I have gotten into debates with many people, including one formerly well-respected member of the community who believes that the only way Vegeta got Super Saiyan 2 is because of the Babidi boost. And that is not correct. That is very wrong. That is very wrong. Just because somebody has been talking about Dragon Ball for a while or runs a website or something, and they think that they're the all-encompassing fucking knowledge guy, doesn't mean they know everything. They can be wrong. And I made a whole fucking video on it called Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta Explained, where we talk about all the evidence from the manga that Vegeta already had Super Saiyan 2, and that Babidi's boost was not one that gave Vegeta Super Saiyan 2. Rather, it elevated Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2 to a higher state.
Did that argument happen before or after they confirmed in Jump that he got it through training? Because they eventually did come out with an article that that confirmed that Vegeta got it through training and that he had it before this. So they eventually did confirm it.
When did that article come out? Because the argument I'm talking about happened.
It was a while back. It was years ago.
Yeah, because the argument that I'm talking about was back in 2010. It was before.
Oh yeah, it was way after that.
This is pre-geekdom.
2019.
Yeah, this is pre-geekdom 101. And my argument was no, there's all this evidence that Vegeta already knew SS2. He figured it out during the 7 years. Yeah, and Goku knows it. Gohan's the one that went through puberty and spent 7 years jacking off instead of training, and then he let his dad and his dad's rival surpass him. So, and to be honest, Toriyama's intention behind that was always to rebuild Gohan, which he did with Ultimate Gohan, but even that didn't really pan out the way that some fans would have wanted.
Yeah.
So he blew up. Yakon blew up. How did he blow up? He ate too much light energy. What a fool. He fell for a trap. So now they're all they're realizing, okay, these guys are way stronger than us. We can't fuck with this guy. And now Dabura's like, I'll go handle this.
I got this, son.
I'll go to level 3. Yeah. But he's the last guy left.
I just realized me and Dabura got the same goatee, bro. We got the same thing going on.
Maybe you should have drawn the M on your forehead for this stream, bro.
That would have been awesome.
Well, next stream is gonna probably be Majin
I'll get a
also.
tattoo.
No, do not get a tattoo, bro. That's almost as bad as tattooing 69 on your wrist, bro, and paying $60 for it.
Yeah.
Chapter 452, Dabura takes the stage. Love this art right here. Love it. So at this point, now look. Let's look at what Vegeta says here. This is about Gohan. Goku says, Gohan, it's your turn next. Have you been training? Huh? Too bad he was lulled by the peace and hasn't been training much. We're probably stronger than him now. How could Vegeta have surpassed Gohan and not have Super Saiyan 2 already?
Good question.
This is why I say that the people that insist on saying that he got it through Babidi don't know how to fucking read. It's right there.
Shocker.
A Dragon Ball fan that can't read, it's right there. Goku and Vegeta both kept up with their training, got to Gohan's level, moved past it. Gohan went through puberty and discovered porn and spent, at least that's my headcanon, spent all day beating his meat, hiding it from his mom instead of actually training. Vegeta and Goku already had enough pussy. They didn't need to jack off anymore at that point, right? That makes sense, right, Jordan?
Yeah. And also to expand on the whole him training for it, in that article I was talking about in Jump, they specified that Goku and Vegeta could only get Super Saiyan 2 through training. Not only did they say that they got it through training, they went out of their way to say that Goku and Vegeta could only get it through training, whereas Gohan got it through his rage. They even specified that was the only way it was possible. So
yeah, I mean that's a form you get through training. I mean there's lots of different ways to get transformations. With the God forms, you've got the ritual, and then you've got obviously God training. There's sometimes there's two different ways, but Super Saiyan 2 has always been one that you have to unlock through a lot of training. Now, notice here how Vegeta says he used to be fierce when he got mad, and then Gohan's just like he like kind of admitting that, yeah, you're right, I kind of suck now. And that's not good because a lot of Dragon Ball fans hate the fact that Toriyama cucked him power wise. But you have to understand that Toriyama did have good intentions because he was trying to rebuild Gohan with training with Shin. When you really think about it, Gohan became the first mortal to train with Shin, and that's kind of cool. And so there was good intentions there to make him, you know, go back to being the badass Gohan. It's just that by the time that and we're going to talk about it when we get there, by the time we got to Gohan and Buu, Toriyama was just like, this isn't it. There's something missing. And that's when he kind of, went back to, went back to Goku. So moving on, Dabura shows up and he's like, you're going to be facing me. I can't believe you guys made it this far. And then Vegeta's like, oh, the right-hand man's going to fight? He's like, Babidi's disappointing. And then Dabura says, why don't you all attack me? Like, he wants to go 4-on-1. And then Gohan's like, no.
Like, bro, my turn.
No, it's my turn, yeah. Now we cut back to the tournament. So what ends up happening is because everybody dipped out, they have to restructure the entire tournament. So the final remaining fighters, which are these 5 right here, have to compete in a battle royal type of situation. So basically, and this is, kind of Mr. Satan's idea, with the idea being, let them all fight each other. Then I'll take the tired one or I'll just pay him off, which is exactly what he did. So what do you think about that, bro? Like right here, he says, let's have a battle royal. Those quitters have forfeited. The remaining finalists can have an all-out battle. He's just happy he didn't have to face the likes of Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. Yeah. What do you think about the battle royal thing?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's all just a ploy to make it to where it's easy for him in the end to become the champion. Like, I totally agree with you. Like,
a battle royale, bro. Yeah. Toriyama loves his professional wrestling. I mean, he might not have been a big fan, but he definitely saw some of it because he wouldn't even know what a damn battle royale is. Like, battle royal, this is before the movie Battle Royale. The term battle royal is a wrestling term. It was invented in California way back in like the 40s and 50s. That's literally, it is a battle royal. It used to be, here's your little wrestling history lesson. The battle royal got famous in California in the San Francisco territory way back. Like I mentioned, the 50s, they would do an annual battle royal with 2 rings. And they would bring in guys like Andre the Giant and like these big guys from all over the country. And people would pay top dollar to see a battle royal with 40 guys or 20 guys. And so it was the only time you ever got to see like 20, 30, or 40 guys in one ring just beating the shit out of each other. And it drew because there was nothing else like it. Like, battle royals were one of a kind. And so that's where the whole thing started. Japan doesn't really do that many battle royals, but they have. So there's your little wrestling history lesson, bro. And now, of course, the most famous battle royal is the Royal Rumble that they do every January. So the Royal Rumble is like a gauntlet battle royal. So battle royals are still very much popular. And the Royal Rumble is one of the biggest shows every year because you never get to see that many guys in one fight. So we have, of course, Mighty Mask, which is Goten and Trunks. I love these hijinks. This is a great, great hybrid of early Toriyama and like Z era Toriyama, where you've got like 18 represents like mid Dragon Ball Z, like Cell Saga, Don't Fuck With Me, I'm a Serious Threat. Mighty Mask represents Goku and Krillin from the early tournaments. You understand what I'm saying? That's kind of how I always saw this. So, do you agree or no?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And then 18 eliminates this dude right here. Mighty Mask gets rid of that guy.
Yeah,
they don't even
hit
waste
on
any
her.
time.
He hit on her, and she was like, "Yeah, you're going out first."
I love it. I love it because they got rid of all the jabronis, and now Mr. Satan is shitting his pants because, like, he's surrounded by two people who he knows deep down inside. Like, he's saying he's happy, but deep down inside, he's about to be shocked as to how strong they really are.
Yeah,
And
it's awesome.
18, and I love how 18 can tell something's weird about Mighty Mask. Can she just not see the holes in the stomach area? Is she like unable to?
I think she's not paying much attention. She's kind of
I mean, dude, it's right there. Like, it's not even that hard to notice.
she notices here in a minute.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So 18 versus Mighty Mask. This is really the opposite of what we're getting in the Babidi fight, which is lots of it's not main characters, even though I would put Goten and Trunks as main characters, but it gives them something to do. Like that, this is something that I sort of miss about Toriyama, is that he would give everybody something to do until he stopped caring about them. And like, for example, I'll give you an example. In Daima, we spent the entire series in the demon realm, and I was thinking when Daima was coming out that there might be like another conflict going on Earth
Yeah.
that Gohan and Goten and Trunks may have to contend with, even as kids, even as babies. But that we never got that, you know. And I'm not saying that was a mistake or anything, but when a character's not along on the journey, we never check back with them anymore, and that's kind of a bummer. Like, I like when they split off and we can go back
It's
and
like
forth.
two different stories running simultaneously almost. Yeah.
That's what we're seeing here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one lets Toriyama do the goofy comedy and still have some good action. So here comes Mighty Mask. Satan goes in. They don't care about him. They start going at it. 18 and Goten and Trunks. It's just awesome, bro. Like, it's just it's awesome, but it's like also very goofy at the same time.
Yeah, the look on Mr. Satan's face is funny there. That's a classic Senbei face.
Yeah, the I don't know what the hell I'm seeing face, because he's like squinting his eyes, like, am I dreaming right now, or, you know? So they start fighting in the air, but the problem is that Goten and Trunks have to coordinate all their moves because they're two different people, and 18 is just one person. She starts to battle them out.
As well.
Yeah, 18 is stronger than a traditional Super Saiyan. So in a one-on-one fight, 18 would beat Goten and Trunks.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if she trained. That's one thing that's never really told to us. Did 18 train during the 7 years?
I don't think she would feel the need to be honest.
She was just being a mother then?
Yeah.
No, I was just curious what you thought about that.
I mean, Krillin kind of neglected his training. If Krillin was training, I would think that she was training. But since he's not, that makes me think that she's not either. So.
Could this be a preview of Goten and Trunks' fusion? I know why you think that, but it's not. Toriyama didn't even come up with fusion at this point. Yeah. So I know why you would think that. Like, it makes sense, but no, it's not a foreshadowing for fusion. But you have to also remember that even before fusion was like a thing, Goten and Trunks were already like best buddies, and this shows their relationship. You know what I mean? It shows like them just being a couple of kids that have known each other pretty much since birth. So there again, it's very difficult. So then they decide to transform into Super Saiyans, but they do it inside of the Mighty Mask outfit, right? And what a freak! He's got short arms and legs for just a tall body, but he's pretty strong, you know. And now she's dealing with 2 Super Saiyans, but still, I see Super Saiyan. I know who you really are, little boys. Now she knows. See, I'm so glad that she figured it out because one of the things I hate, man, is when characters, as much as I love that episode where Goku fights Beerus in the Monaka outfit because that's a funny episode. It's
You don't
also
like it whenever the people are just unnecessarily stupid. Like,
you couldn't tell that was Beerus, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, come on. But it still was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that episode was not even written by Toriyama. So blast, she's like, whoa, it's about to go into the crowd, but luckily it goes over into the water. He missed. Shoot faster then. They're not playing around. That blast was very fast and strong. Those little shrimps are ridiculously strong, all being done to build them up. And what does she do? This is genius. I love this. She whips out the technique that her husband made famous. Right there, the Kienzan, which means that she figured out how to do that technique from him.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Right down the middle. Oh no, Mighty Mask is dead. She sliced him in half. Oh no, everybody's like, we just saw a fatality. But, you know, then we get to this. Of course, this is when they reveal that they're actually 2 kids. So they're not dead. So everybody's like, okay, he's not dead. Now they're disqualified. So it's down to 18 and Satan. And at this point, 18 is it's a formality. Now, let me ask you a question about this panel right here. Was Roshi drunk here, bro? Because the way that he's drawn.
I mean, he does act goofy in the anime too. So maybe it's possible.
I think he was drunk. I really do think he was drunk.
Yeah.
Shit. She knew it was us. And then there's Videl, who can't fly as fast as Gohan. And then here we have this whole thing. Toriyama had to have a great time drawing Mr. Satan's faces.
Yeah.
In this whole thing. Like, it was great. She puts him in a headlock, and she's the smart one. He's begging, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Shut up and stop your yelling. I'll be quiet or I'll really kill you. And then he's like, whisper to me, do you want to win? Not really. Just don't do anything bad to me. I just might allow you to win, huh? If you give me 20 million zeni, I'll throw the match. It's not so bad since you get to keep your reputation. Very smart.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what's going on, Mr. Satan? Are you okay? And she's got him in a headlock. If you want 20 million, you want 20 million zeni? If I let you win, you'll get 10 million. It's not a bad deal. Or do you want me to knock you out now? I'll do it. I'll pay. I'll pay. All right, then. You're a real sport. And then she takes a dive. Like in wrestling, bro. She takes a dive. It reminds me of that pro wrestling episode of Ren and Stimpy when they're beating the shit out of Ren and Stimpy, and then at the very end they go, hey, yeah, it's time to throw the fight. Okay. And then they just go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ren and Stimpy pin him. Bro, I gotta find that episode. Yeah. That's not how it is in real wrestling, bro, but still. Or real fake wrestling, whatever. So Mr. Satan gets his reputation, which ultimately earned him a lot more than 20 million zeni. 20 million zeni is not all that much money for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially considering he would get the prize money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And Satan Miracle Special Ultra Super Punch. He hits her. Is this your strongest attack? Yeah, for the moment. And there she takes the final dive out of the ring, and Satan is the winner. I love this. This was such a creative thing. Okay. I hope Geekdom does a video about the characters flying, like what's difference when the characters fly normal and the Boo's flying. Go to my channel, type in "flying explained." You might get your answer. Maybe I already made that video like 7 years ago.
Yeah, bro.
Instead of asking if I made a video, just look for it, because you might get what you want. Anyways, he's the winner. They're explaining what's going on with this. This is, and they find out all the stuff about Buu, and of course they want to get involved. So now things are going to get much, much more interesting. Because now the kids are going to get involved. Yeah. I love these two panels right here. Just great rambunctious shit. And they fucking blast away, bro. So an evil heart is found. So Dabura is fighting Gohan. And I think this fight is underrated as hell.
Yeah.
I love it because Dabura busts out a bunch of techniques. Here's the flame breath on Gohan. Remember, they're fighting in a place that resembles the Daimakai, which is the demon realm. And now we know from Daima, this is just Demon World 3 in the demon realm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they're going at it back and forth. Dabura firing a key blast. The colors
it's actually a magic. That's actually magic. They specify that right there is specifically magic. Even though it looks like a key blast, it's still magic. So
that's true. No, you're right. It is magic. Because to the demons, it's all magic.
Yeah.
So, but I love the colors. Like this is one of the times that the full color manga really pops.
Yeah.
Gohan is having a hard time with this guy. And Goku and Vegeta notice it. I pointed this out in my video about Vegeta and how much he surpassed Gohan. That was magic. He's a lot stronger than I thought he'd be. He isn't so strong that we can't beat him. Gohan was stronger as a brat. I guess he's been lazy. Shit, this is starting to piss me off. Yeah, because now it's like, okay, I had to give up fighting Goku to fight these jobbers, and now even Gohan is letting us down. Like, I get why Vegeta's upset. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to dick around, you know? And then I love this part. He spits on Gohan, and then Gohan quickly takes off the glove, the Gray Saiyaman glove, and so only the glove turns to stone. But this allows Dabura to go at him with this Arabian saber. Dude, what a great fucking villain, man.
Yeah, that's
I love Dabura, bro.
That's a really cool sword design for sure.
He's got so many cool abilities, man. I remember back in the day, I used to pick them in the video games just so I can do like flame breath and you know the spit. Like it reminds me of like for example, there's a Justice League fighting game that came out a long time ago, and instead of picking Superman or Batman, I picked Green Arrow because Green Arrow has the fire arrows, the ice arrows, the lightning arrows. Like I like the variety of techniques, and Dabura was like that. The flame breath, the spit, the sword. Like I've always felt like maybe he should have been a main villain.
He has main villain potential, but I don't agree that he's a better main villain than Boo for this saga.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't
I
say
know. I
that.
saw somebody say that in the chat, and I don't agree at all.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. Boo. It would have been something if Dabura lasted a little bit longer and then Boo showed up. Then it could have been like maybe Dabura was like a sub boss, but yeah. So Gohan breaks the sword. Meanwhile, these guys are not getting the energy that they need. Like Babidi's not getting it, and now Vegeta's getting really mad. This is making me angry. I'm going to step in to finish this. Don't do that, Vegeta. It's not like he's losing. I don't enjoy this foolishness. So let's get this so we can settle our fight. That's the only reason I came to that stupid tournament. Right there, bro. And I discussed this in more detail. If you want to know the whole story behind this, you got to check out the video I did called Majin Vegeta, A Deeper Look. It's been on the channel for a while. I think it's got like 800,000 views, something like that. In that video, I go into explicit detail about this right here, showing you evidence and showing you what's going on. Vegeta only went to that tournament because he still has a hard on for Goku, and all he's gotten since then is interruptions and bullshit. He doesn't care about the shit Supreme Kai's bullshit. He doesn't care about the Majin Buu. He just wants Goku. That's all he wants. He has a one-track mind.
Yep.
I like how this guy right here just figured it out, bro. Congratulations, brother. You figured out something I figured out when I was 13. Let me tell you about this thing called pussy. Oh, boy. No, I'm kidding. I'm like... Anyways, so now Dabura also senses it. Like, wait a minute. This guy's got a little bit of evil, a little bit of selfishness in his heart, right? You better be sure of yourself. So then they decide to go back to the ship. And Dabura leaves. He's like, fuck it. And then he's like, I've got an ideal fighter for you. I don't have to be out here. Of course, they didn't tell us it was Vegeta. Justin says, so wait. If Dabura is fighting Gohan in the 3rd floor, then who's the opponent for the 4th floor? Ezra Miller? Considering that guy's history with aggrieved assault. I think you meant to say aggravated assault. He'd fit right in with Babidi. Brother, where are the mentions of the baby oil? Where's the baby oil at? Where's the Diddy throwing the Molotov cocktail in Kid Cudi's fucking car? Like, you should be, brother, if I was super chatting, I would have taken that picture of Dabura doing the magic blast and been like, oh, look, he's copying Diddy blowing up Kid Cudi's car. Where are you at, Justin? I got material that you should be chatting to me, bro. What's going on, man? You're sleeping. No, listen. Justin's bored of Diddy. I get that, but the trial's going on right now. And the trial has opened up all kinds of new fucking pieces of information. You all right, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. I just had to blow an ant off my soda.
Because don't forget, bro. Now we know fucking, I mean, a lot of folks already knew this, but now it's become public. The Molotov cocktail incident. This guy, what was the name of that stripper that they hired? Punisher.
Trial,
Punisher. So there's a male stripper named Punisher who had like sex with Cassie and all this fucking shit, bro. There's a lot. So what you should have said was that Yakon was fucking Punisher and that Goku's going Super Saiyan 2 busted a big ass load of light energy in his mouth. And then Diddy rubbed it on his nipples. Justin, you're falling apart, bro. I have outdone him on this stream, bro. I'm bringing you know what's going on. No, I know what's going on. You haven't been keeping up. Keep up with the trial, bro. Because I've been keeping up, and it's pretty damn interesting, I will say. Especially since I have been keeping up with it, and I'll tell you why. I have listened to Puff Daddy since 7th grade, dude. I wasn't the biggest fan of his. Like, he's not anywhere near being my favorite rapper because he's not. But the fact that I've been listening that long, like going back to like the Biggie days, it's just a very fascinating story. Plus, the guy's a legitimate MCU villain, bro. Jordan, this guy is a real life like kingpin. Like,
No, I
wasn't
mean, I
just
believe it. I believe it. You don't have to convince me.
satanic, bro. He's very satanic. One of them has much evil in his heart. With that much evil, you'll have no trouble getting him on our side. The fated Goku, the fated showdown, Goku versus Vegeta. Here we go. So now they don't know what the hell's going on. And at this point, Babidi sees Vegeta. He senses the evil in the heart and he starts to do his magic. Vegeta goes Super Saiyan. And here it's almost teased that he's going to blow up like Sapopovich. But
All right.
he's.
I'm going to send you an image real quick. Ignore all the images I sent you earlier. I'm just going to send you the relevant images for whenever I want to talk about this shit. All right. I just sent you something. You can pull it up on screen now. Because this is like verbatim the exact same thing that's going on with Vegeta. Like, it's
Let's talk
literally
about this. No,
Yeah.
let's talk about this because I want you to discuss this on the stream. That's what we're here. Talk about it. There you go. It's right there.
Okay, so you guys see this page right here. You see how like Wukong's like, oh, what the hell's going on? Like, you know, so the scene right prior to this, Wukong found out that he murdered like an entire group of people in front of his group, and he didn't understand why. And the reason why is because one, he's having an identity crisis. The person that he used to be is coming out. The person that he's like repressing and trying to prevent from, becoming again is coming out. So he's like murdering innocent people. He's essentially underneath something very similar, something to Majin's spell, but really it's his ego trying to destroy his new personality that he's developing to prevent him from becoming a new person. That's essentially what's happening here. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to point out how, because people always like question me on this Journey to the West stuff, and I just wanted to just basically point out
they question you.
Yeah, they
people question me, bro. The God of Dragon Ball. No, go ahead.
But okay, so let me just point out real quick just how verbatim this is the exact same thing. So Wukong post character development was essentially the equivalent of what Vegeta is as a space pirate, except he was a bandit who would take over other people's territories, and he eventually tried to do that with Heaven. And he was a vicious, murdering monster who like used his ki as a weapon to like try to take over the universe. And then he became a Buddhist martial artist, exactly like Goku. And after that, after some time, he ended up basically developing a split personality, because what happened is the part of his nature that he used to embrace, the evil aspect of his nature.
This sounds more like Kami and Piccolo.
It's a lot like Kami and Piccolo, but like when Vegeta talks about how he was like, here in a minute when we see Majin, well, I don't know if it happens immediately, but here in a little bit we see Majin Vegeta talk about how he was losing himself, how he was like losing the identity that he had like had so much pride in because he was becoming a peaceful earthling martial artist. That's literally
coming up.
Yeah, that's literally exactly what's happening here. Wukong was becoming a peaceful Buddhist martial artist, but his inner intent to want to dethrone Heaven and become a vicious killer again and embrace his nature was starting to take root, and so he developed like a split personality. And the evil aspect of him ends up winning out slowly and temporarily. So it's very, very, it's extremely similar. So like if you look at Wukong's character development, he starts off a conqueror, an evil conqueror who wants immortality, and then he gets humbled and becomes a Buddhist martial artist, and ends up becoming the ideal martial artist in terms of like narratively, basically the exact same thing as Goku. He becomes the ideal Buddhist martial artist. He goes from being a vicious, cold-blooded, monstrous animal killer to being a peaceful Buddhist martial arts like figure, and that's literally verbatim Goku and Vegeta. So This whole thing that you're seeing on screen is literally like the exact same thing that Toriyama is playing on with Majin Vegeta and Goku. Majin Vegeta is supposed to represent the evil that Goku doesn't have, right? Like we never really got to see, back whenever Goku, you can go back to the manga. Back when we went all the way back in the original Dragon Ball, when we saw them talk about how Goku doesn't have evil in his heart, we never got an actual example of like what that evil was that he was missing. Like we never got like a straightforward example of like what evil would that be that Goku is missing. And Vegeta, and this is why I love this particular scene, is because Toriyama is basically calling back all the way to the original Dragon Ball, and he's using Vegeta as a example of the evil that Goku doesn't have. And I think that that's really, really cool. I just wanted to
also what I like about it is that it was a build-up. Goku agreed, and they were matched up to fight in the tournament. Goku and Vegeta both wanted the rematch, but then here come the interruptions. So the tournament's interrupted by the whole Babidi thing with Sapopovich and Shin and all that. Then they come over here, and Vegeta's like, okay, well, I don't get Kakarot. Maybe I'll get some competition. Then he gets fucking Pui Pui, who's a joke. And then he gets Dabura, who is nowhere near as strong as he should be. And he looks at Gohan, and he's like, what the fuck? So what's happening here is Vegeta's getting more and more frustrated and more impatient. He thinks that this whole Majin Buu thing is like not as important as his rematch with Goku. He's only thinking about himself. He thinks it's all beneath him. He doesn't give a shit about helping Shin or about any of that. He just wants to fight Goku. And the longer they dick around in the damn spaceship, the longer he's not going to get his fight.
Yeah. Well, so Bryant asked, did Wukong have a rival like Goku? Well, he fights himself. And that's basically like his rival. Like the six-eared macaque is like a copy of Son Wukong. It's basically like all of his evil like derived from him and turned into a separate entity. So that basically kind of like is his rival in a sense. And they even play on that in like a lot of modern Journey to the West material. If you've seen Lego Monkey Kid, like his rival in that is literally the six-eared macaque. They even give Wukong and the six-eared macaque Goku and Vegeta's outfits in some episodes. So yeah, I would kind of consider that his rival.
Okay, Justin says, dude, considering Cell, the guy who I compared to Diddy is dead. How can I continue to fucking make comparisons to Cell and Diddy if he's dead? You think about that, Danny? You're right. The trial should have happened when we were covering the Cell saga, because then you would have had a lot of material to work with. We had a lot of reveals in the trial. Yeah, if the damn trial was sooner, bro, you would have for sure had a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Majin Buu is just not gonna. Who else is gonna get a trial like this one? This is a big ass trial, so who knows what else is gonna happen? Junior says, to reply to Justin's super chat, brother, you dropped the ball. That's a wrestling reference. You ran out of jokes more quickly than your vault of money. For me, I run out of both. I mean, I'm not going to say he ran out of jokes. I'm just saying that there's more material now because of the trial. That's what's going on. Yeah, the trial has given us, bro, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so basically, like what we were talking about, Vegeta's allowing... No, Vince McMahon's not gonna have a bigger trial than Diddy, bro. Who's more famous, dog? Vince McMahon or fucking Puff Daddy? Come on, man. And also, that trial's not even like. I don't want to get into that, dudes. We're gonna derail the fucking stream. I want to wrap it up. We're almost done.
Yeah.
So right here, Babidi thinks he's under the control. Vegeta's allowing Babidi to possess him in a way, and then he has the M. And then everyone's like, oh, my God. And then Babidi's like, we got him. And then they teleport to the tournament. Yeah, we'll talk more about that in the future, bro. We're almost done with this. We're literally very this close to being done. So this is the tournament arena right after Mr. Satan had just won the championship. They were teleported there. Who are they? They just showed up all of a sudden. Oh, you're too late. It's already over. What was his name again? Vegeta. Steal their energy. Fight them as hard as you can. You can even kill them if you like. So Toriyama is trying to tell the audience that Vegeta's under Babidi's control. And Vegeta wants us to think that too. But when we get to the next volume, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Because he really wasn't. But right now we're supposed to think. And here's the first sign. Shut up. My only target is Kakarot. I don't care about the rest. What's with him? He isn't completely under my control. This has never happened before. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no one has ever only been like semi under control.
That's his pure evil. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk way more about that in the next. There's the bug eyes in the next Mangalorian. So he puts his hand out like to do a big bang. He fires it. Goku doesn't get hit. It goes right past him, right into the stadium. Vegeta single-handedly murders hundreds of people. Anybody sitting on that side is dead. This scene was insane because we haven't seen Vegeta do this in a really, really long time. Since Namek, when he killed that village.
Yeah.
There we have the debris. I mean, he literally destroyed the entire stadium. And now Goku's pissed off because this is completely unnecessary. Like, Goku's like, dude, you're taking this way too far. Chapter 457, Vegeta's Pride. The art here is great. And now Bulma, unfortunately, has to witness this as well.
But Bulma just gives Vegeta the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's that she doesn't care. I think she just gives him the benefit of the doubt that something's going on.
She definitely cares. Yeah, she definitely cares, bro. I don't know why you would think she doesn't care, but she's also confused because she doesn't know what the hell went on in the spaceship. So Babidi confirms that Vegeta killed 200 people. Fight me, Kakarot, if you don't want the body count to keep rising. He's basically just threatening him, like, fight me or else. Vegeta, did you let yourself get possessed on purpose? And then he's preparing another blast. Nope. Another group of people.
Yeah, and that almost hit his wife.
She's right there, bro.
Yeah.
She is right there. That literally almost hit their friend group. And Goku doesn't like that. Gohan has no idea what to make of this. To be honest, this is pretty shocking in some ways because I don't think anybody going into the Buu saga or going into this had any idea this is going to turn out this way. Like, this is a big subversion by Toriyama because I don't think anybody even could even fathom that this is how it is.
Yeah.
And then Goku powers up. And then Supreme Kai's like, don't do it, which is stupid because he has no choice at this point. He will kill everyone. And Babidi wants you to fight. He'll use your energy to resurrect Buu. That is true. That's literally why this is happening. Babidi doesn't give a fuck about Vegeta and Goku and whether they survive. He just wants that energy. All he cares about is the energy. What if Vegeta killed Chi-Chi with that blast? How would Goku react? I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah, he probably wouldn't react very well.
That would have been.
If he killed any of their friends, he would have flipped.
But like, Chi-Chi's the wife, bro. Like, that is another layer here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that he doesn't care about Chi-Chi, but I don't think it would have had to have been Chi-Chi. I think anybody would have, flipped him out like that.
We're going to talk a lot more about this next time. Like I said, make sure you watch Majin Vegeta a deeper look so that you understand Vegeta's motivations here and that you understand why he allowed Babidi to take over him and give him the Majin boost, even though he still is under control of himself. He still is under control of himself. Vegeta, you let yourself become possessed to make me fight you without holding back. Am I right? It's not exactly right. If I hadn't done this, I wouldn't have been able to fight you. You're only here for a single day, and after which you'll never come back. This is the only chance I have to settle the score with you. And that's it. Like, he just got real selfish, bro. He did kind of go back to his old self in that he got really selfish.
He embraced the pure evil within.
Yeah, the anger and the frustration he had and the impatience. He was very impatient here. And Shin is so like confused by all this because ultimately what Vegeta, look, stupid is a stupid reason. This is everything to me. I don't care about this Majin Buu. That's what I was trying to explain to you earlier. He doesn't care. Yep. And that's it. He's very self-centered, very selfish right now. He only gives a fuck about himself. He only gives a fuck about fighting Goku, and that's it's beta male energy, bro. It's that envy. He never let it go.
Yeah,
like let
he's
it go.
losing his identity is what's happening, and that it is that he wants to settle his score with Goku, but it's more than that, because by settling his score with Goku, he's proving that he's essentially proving that he was right. He's proving that what he was raised to be and what he has believed himself to be his entire life is what he is and not what he's becoming as an Earthling. He's really trying to maintain his identity in a really...
But he's changed, and that's what Goku points out to him in the next volume. That's next time. So Vegeta said, he surpassed my strength. Even though we're both Saiyans, he left me behind. He even spared my life. And that was, of course, on Earth. I can't forgive such an insult. Absolutely not. Only Vegeta would say, he spared my life. I can't forgive him. Only Vegeta would say that. And Goku's over here like, I'm going to tell you what Goku's thinking. Goku's thinking, bro, you've got issues. Yeah, like you need a therapist, bro. And it's true. It's true. He needed a therapist. It's true. Babidi, move us someplace where there's no people around. Do this, and I'll fight Vegeta. And then he's like, you'll never fight him over my dead body. And I love this part. I talked about this recently during Daima when he puts his arm out. Oh man, what a great fucking story. He puts his arm out, and Shin's like, all he tells him is, motherfucker, I will kill you if you don't get out of the way. Because at this point, Goku's really, really mad.
Not only is he mad, he knows that if he doesn't take care of the situation, everything is going to fall apart. Basically,
Vegeta will kill more people.
Yeah, the stakes are higher than they have ever been, because not only would he kill more people, Goku only has so much time on Earth. So he only has so much he can do. So
when you really think about it, bro, now that I'm looking at this as an adult, this was Babidi's ultimate checkmate. Vegeta allowing this to happen was Babidi was losing. Let me use a chess metaphor. He was losing pieces on the board, and he just checkmated them, because now they have to fight. And when they fight, Babidi will take the energy to resurrect Buu. And if they don't fight, Vegeta will go around killing people until they do fight. So it's like legit, bro. Like he checkmated his ass, bro. Like Babidi checkmated this dude.
Spot, for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get Justin sent some super chats in, and I missed a couple. He says, I wish when Vegeta destroyed the stadium, there was some drunk dude in the back that chants World Star. Yeah. The stadium, maybe if there was a Denny's in the stadium, it would have made sense, bro. That would have been better. He also says, did you hear about Cell Combs' little clip with him and Ty Meek Mills leaking? There, you happy now? There, you happy now? He wrote that twice, even though it's completely insufficient now. I actually don't know what you're talking about. No, I did hear something about Meek Mills. Was it something gay or something? I did hear something, but that's not like a big. I'll look into it after the stream because I think I heard something, but I forgot. Thank you, Justin. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, so let me address this. He says, I have an unpopular theory about that. I'm convinced that Goku fought hard and that SS3 was created a few chapters later. Goku never lies. You are correct. I don't think Toriyama had thought up Super Saiyan 3 yet. It's pretty obvious based on Goku and the way he behaves. I don't think a lot of people always
he
say
also had to come up with the whole thing that if he used Super Saiyan 3, he would leave Earth. So it's not just
drain his time.
Yeah, if he didn't. So let's say, for example, that he gave him Super Saiyan 3. Without that, it wouldn't be as good an excuse for why Goku didn't use Super Saiyan 3 here or a number of other times, right? So it's the combination of both of those things that kind of give away that it was an afterthought because he had to have both of those things in place. You know,
there's a specific part where Goku is like, after all this, Goku's like sitting down at the sacred realm, and he's like, I gave it everything I've got. I think at that point, Toriyama said, okay, Goku Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, we're going to leave him like that. But when Toriyama came up with the Goku Fat Buu fight, he had to give Goku something because we already saw a Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta get fucking smashed by Majin Buu. If Goku went after Buu in Super Saiyan 2, it wouldn't have done shit. So he had to make a new form for that to make sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about making it make sense with the story. And that's what I like. I like when the forms make sense in the story, not they don't just come up with a new form for toys, which is what happened later. And now Babidi's happy, like we talked about. He is he checkmated them, you know. Oh, sorry about that. And he's over here pretending to be a tough guy. And then now the plan is that Gohan and Shin are going to try and stop it from happening and, stop Buu from coming back while they fight. So I guess it's better to do that and at least maybe have Majin Buu come back without being at full power. Yeah. And then here, Vegeta's like, no, first Babidi says, Vegeta, I order you to kill them. Talking about Shin and Gohan. And then Vegeta basically says, piss off. He says, I refuse. What Kaioshin does matters not to me as long as he doesn't interfere with my battle with Kakarot. That's all he cares about, bro. That's all he cares about. Fuck the world. I got to get my shit. And that's a very, very selfish and very it is evil. It is evil in a way. Vegeta's not fully evil, but hold on a minute. What's this word? What's this word right here that Vegeta said? Jordan, can you please tell me what that word is?
No, I'm good.
Can somebody in the chat tell me what that word is?
I think the N is silent there.
Is that? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think what a lot of people ignore about this is that it's in Vegeta's nature to be a violent, destructive being. It's not just that he's evil. It's like literally in his nature to be that way. Now, what makes Vegeta kind of exceptional is that he's adopted that as his personal identity. And that's what he's afraid he's losing. He's essentially afraid that he's going to lose what defined him as a person, which is what he was taught a Saiyan is. So it's deeper than him being evil. It's that to him, the evil nature of the Saiyans is the Saiyans.
It's like default. It's like his default mode.
That is what the Saiyans actually are. So if he's not that, then what is he? Right. So
yeah. And here's where he tells Babidi, I refuse to be your slave, even though you've taken over my body and soul, you'll never have my pride. And that's a great line.
Yeah.
Babidi has no idea about Saiyans and Planet Vegeta. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know about Goku and Vegeta's history. So his plan somewhat backfired, but not fully, because he's going to get the energy no matter what. Even Dabura's like, don't worry, just get the energy. He's like, don't sweat all this shit, bro. I will stop Supreme Kai. I will stop Gohan. You know? And then Goku's like, fighting me is so important to you, huh? And then basically they're like, oh, let's let him in, which, hey, Dabura's got some nuts, bro. He's got some stones. We talked about that earlier. Justin says Vegeta is straight up doing a Kanye West impression. Well, I don't think Vegeta's putting out a song.
You know what's funny about that?
You know about the song Kanye put out, right?
Of course.
I didn't know if you kept up with that.
I made a thread like years ago explaining like the 6-year Macaque Wukong thing on Twitter, and somebody said that Kanye needs a Sun Wukong arc in that Twitter thread. They commented that in that Twitter thread years ago, which is funny.
Wow. You think that was Justin way back when?
I don't know who it was, but it was funny. I can't remember who said it, but it was funny. It was obviously a fan who didn't like seeing Kanye fall off at the time, because you know as well as I do, there were a lot of fans who like had to suffer major blows during that era. You know, I'm pretty sure one of them was a Dragon Ball content creator. He was like a huge I can't remember the dude's name, but there was a guy who was like a huge Kanye fan who was also a Dragon Ball content creator, and he like stood by him almost till the very end. And I just saw that a lot on the internet back then, because that's whenever all that shit first started happening with Kanye, where he really started showing like his manic side. So
I loved his first 3 albums. In fact, when College Dropout came out, I was super behind that guy, because I loved the beats he did for a lot of my favorite rappers. I loved the stuff he was rapping about. Like, he's almost a different person back then than the guy we have now. After his 4th album, which was the 808s and Heartbreaks album, I started to notice his behavior get really, really annoying. And at that point, I fucking checked out. Like, I also checked out of hip hop for a while anyways, but I checked out. So I never got to hear like My Beautiful Twisted Fantasy. Like, I was so disgusted with Kanye that like I didn't care. And since then, I haven't jumped back. And I know that he's a great musician, but it's like when I see him say the things he says and do the things he does, it's like, I think the dude might have some mental illness, bro. I think there's a mental illness there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to take medication for mental illness, so it makes sense.
I think he's got bipolar disorder and something else.
Yeah.
And when you're wealthy, bro, and you have those issues, it's tough. So Goku says he has 2 senzu beans. He's gonna give one to Gohan. So, because Gohan used up so much energy in his fight with Dabura, Goku tells him, get angry, and when you get angry, get Cell and drew forth all your strength. If you do that again, no one can beat you. So he still believes in Gohan.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's too bad this had to happen on your day back on Earth, because Goku draws negative attention to Earth. I mean, he just does. It's how it is, man. It's how it is, you know. The door below is open. That Babidi's doing, let's go get him. They're going down. They confront them. And it's Gohan. And I actually kind of like what they're setting up here. Gohan and the God of Creation against Dabura and the Warlock. Like, that's kind of an interesting 2-on-2. Yeah, but we don't actually see him go 2-on-2.
You know what's really cool about it? Like, looking at it in hindsight, specifically with Daima, is that the Kaioshin are responsible for the Saiyans existing. So this is almost like a Pokemon battle. It's almost like, even though Dabura is the one that's being controlled, it's like, you know, the only reason something like Babidi can exist is because of the Demon Realm, and the only reason something like Gohan can exist is because of the Mortal Realm. So that's really interesting to think about.
Well, also the Supreme Kai is also from the Demon Realm, so it's you know, the Demon Realm always creeps back up in this series. We just didn't know how much until the Daima lore dumps. So they're there to stop him, and then meanwhile on the outside we have Goku, Vegeta. I am going to say this, and I'm going to say it before we even get to the fight. if you're expecting the manga version of Goku Majin Vegeta to be as good as the anime, you're going to be disappointed. The anime added a lot of extra parts of the fight that were done by Tadayoshi Yamamuro and a lot of other big animators that elevated that fight. That's one of the fights that is not just better, significantly better in the anime than the manga. We'll talk more about that when we get to the actual fight, but I'm just letting you know that it is better in the anime because of the stuff they added.
Yeah.
So it's more epic. So now Goku powers up to Super Saiyan 2 once again. And he's like, oh, you're even stronger than Gohan when he was at his maximum. And there's Vegeta. Bam. Lightning everywhere. He's at Super Saiyan 2. And then Goku's like, it'll take a while. Here I come. I'm going to kill you, Kakarot. Here he comes. Goku blocks the kick. Vegeta just smiles. He's having the time of his life. Goes for a left jab. Goku blocks that. Goku goes for a punch. Vegeta blocks it. They lock arms and start to do the double knee clashes. This is a great scene, bro.
Yeah, dude. It's an awesome fight. I love the fight.
Very intense, bro. Vegeta hits him with a headbutt. Look, I just love like how Toriyama really drew a lot of the lightning effects with every panel. Like he went, excuse me.
There's a lot of
he
motion.
went ham with.
There's a lot of motion in this fight where the lightning's being moved around by their movements. The auras are being moved around by their movements. This is actually one of the rare instances where Toriyama keeps the aura on almost the entire fight, actually.
Yeah. And I don't know if he meant to do that every time someone did SS2, but for sure here. Goku goes for a kick. Vegeta goes away. They continue to fight. Vegeta is bleeding a little bit, but he's still in this thing, bro. All right, countdown. So this is a long volume, bro.
Yeah.
So now they're outside. Yeah, now they're outside. And now Dabura's like, all right, let's finish our fight from earlier. Gohan remembers what Goku told him.
Yeah, this
and
is
then
them reinforcing this idea that Gohan can't tap into his original power because he can't have the big rage boost that he had that caused Super Saiyan 2 is very important to remember because he doesn't have that this entire arc. That's the reason that he ends up relying on the old Kai to unlock his potential to win. Gohan never actually manages to have a rage boost and tap into the original power that he had. He never manages to do it again this entire arc. Like he doesn't do it.
The next time he does it was fucking Superhero, right?
Yeah.
That has to be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what happens when you have ultimate power and you get mad? There you go. Yeah. So Gohan says, I'm angry, but not like the last time. This fucking guy, do you need Viagra, bro? Are you in need of some Viagra? Yeah, Viagra. He needs Viagra. He's like, oh, I'm angry, but not as mad as I was before. Do we gotta bring out a robot for fucking Dabura to step on, bro? Like, how do we bring this out of you, dog? Like, come on. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, dude. Come on, Gohan. The old Gohan would have been able to smash Dabura and be done with this shit already. Viagra, bro. Viagra. He's reached full power. Buu's at full power. Now, look. Buu hit full power because of the Goku Majin Vegeta fight. In the anime, this whole thing took 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And the manga was 1 chapter. I told you it was much faster.
Yeah, it is a lot faster than the anime. For
I
sure.
actually prefer the anime version. I think it's got more tension. I think so.
I see.
I mean, it's just how I feel. And now they're like, how do you get so much energy? And it's like my father and Vegeta are fighting both at a level that surpasses Super Saiyan. The energy they're expelling must be enormous. That's why you see the aura all over them. What a disaster. This couldn't get any worse. We're too late. Meanwhile, bam. You know, fuck. These are great panels, even though I wanted more.
Yeah, they're messing each other up, bro.
Vegeta bleeding everywhere. They're still doing the blocking. Like it's a ham fight, bro. Meanwhile, here come the kids. They sense the energy. They want to see what's going on. Now they're both kind of out of breath. Goku is incredible. I thought my training in the other world was tough, but it looks like you're about as strong as I am. Nothing about Super Saiyan 3, bro. Nothing about Super Saiyan 3. Not even a hint. I must have trained even harder. You must have trained even harder than I. I may have trained harder than you, but you're still stronger than I am. No matter what I do, there's always been a constant gap between the two of us. It became clear when I saw you fighting Babidi's monster. It was a blow to my pride, so I made a decision. What a beta, bro. This is basically the equivalent of the guy who my girl is with. The guy who I'm competing with a girl to get with has a bigger dick than me, so I'm going to beat his ass. That's literally what this is, bro. And then this is what Vegeta says. I learned at the tournament that Babidi's men have become much stronger after being possessed. That when I thought if I allowed myself to be possessed by Babidi, then maybe I would finally catch up to you. And I was right, which is exactly what I've been saying for years now. That Vegeta saw how strong Goku was and realized that his Super Saiyan 2 was not as high as Goku's, so he got the Majin boost to get equal. Yes, what Adam says is correct. He went for the performance-enhancing drugs.
Yep.
He took steroids, Jordan. Demonic steroids. I hate this idea, but even with your pride, you let yourself become possessed so you could gain a little strength. I wanted to be the way that I used to be, a cruel and a cold-blooded Saiyan. I wanted to fight you without holding back and without having to worry about anything else. Your influence softened my heart. This is the Vegeta arc, bro. Yeah. And again, people say Toriyama can't write. I think they're stupid. I even started a family and began living like a normal earthling life.
He was becoming purified like Goku was by Grandpa Gohan, and he was rejecting it. He didn't want to be purified. He doesn't want to be pure of heart in that sense. He just doesn't want to be. Yeah.
And when Goku came back for that one day, it brought back all those feelings of frustration and anger. And then he got more frustrated when he didn't get his fight.
Yeah, and the reason he says that he feels better is because this is who Vegeta actually is on the inside in terms of when he embraces his Saiyan nature. That's the thing. Vegeta is facing against his own nature. It's not even just his identity. The reason he's facing against his identity is because he embraced his nature as a Saiyan as his identity. But what he's actually facing here is his destructive, violent, evil nature that
his
he
old
has.
Self.
Yeah, well, it's not just his old self. It's like what's naturally within him because he's a Saiyan. He let the part of him that whenever he gets excited in battle, whenever you remember when Raditz first popped up, what's one of the first things he said to Goku? He was like, "Don't you want to kill like a couple hundred people? Like it'll get like it's exciting to kill people. We enjoy it. Like as Saiyans, it excites us to do that type of thing. Like we love violence, and that is what Vegeta has associated and defined himself as his entire existence. Is basically what Raditz is talking about there. To what Raditz saw the Saiyans as is what Vegeta sees himself as. So if he loses himself, that's a huge blow to his pride and to his ego. So that's the reason he said that he feels better in this scenario is because this is essentially him embracing, what he thinks a Saiyan should be in comparison to what Goku is showing him. Because Goku is essentially proving to him that what Goku is as a Saiyan is actually more ideal. It's actually better. It actually it can hinder it actually hinders your progress less than what Vegeta does. That's the reason that gap is there that Vegeta is talking about. It's because Goku as a mark, and we're going to get into this, of course, whenever Vegeta gives his famous speech, but the gap is consistently there because of Goku's attitude and what he defines himself as in comparison to Vegeta. So that's what this is all about. It's more about Vegeta's ideology being wrong and Vegeta's ideology being the exact reason as to why he's constantly behind Goku, and that drives Vegeta's nuts. He can't stand the idea that his ideology is inferior and that his ideology is the reason that this gap exists between him and Goku, which is why he wanted to embrace who he used to be because he wanted to prove that his original ideas are superior, and that's what makes an actual Saiyan what they're supposed to be. So it's kind
He
of a
hasn't
thing,
he hasn't let go. He has not let go of the programming that he's felt since he was a kid and his
yeah,
nature. He hasn't let it go. He's still
yeah.
an animal. And again, when people say Toriyama isn't a good writer, I just assume they haven't read Dragon Ball, because this is phenomenal writing. Like, this is much deeper. Like, when I was a kid, I always enjoyed this, but it did take a few viewings for me to really understand what's really going on beneath the surface of this character. He was fine. He was fine with Bulma and Trunks. The minute that Goku said, "Hey guys, I'm coming back to the tournament," his fucking brain started thinking and his
Well,
mind started
his
traveling. And
consciousness is what's important here. So I want to expand on this a little bit, because a lot of people think that violence and like killing and stuff like that is inherently evil, and it's not. Because in certain
well,
scenarios,
depends.
yeah, it does depend. If it's a survival scenario, okay, if you don't have a consciousness, okay, if you're no different than an animal and you're killing people, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing as like your consciousness is what defines you as evil. When your ego starts adopting evil ideologies and embracing them and using them as an excuse for your actions, that is evil. That is egotistical evil. That is your consciousness developing a desire and a want and a need to commit evil acts. It's not the same thing as like, not employing your consciousness and doing certain things. Like the whole entire concept of no-mindedness
This is
in
all
China.
Buddhist shit, right?
Yeah, the whole entire concept of like no-mindedness is that if you can let go of that consciousness, you can essentially prevent yourself from doing things that would hinder your progress or cause you to have bad karma. It's doing things within the context of using your conscious mind that is considered actual evil, because you want to do it. You consciously want to do it. You're embracing, instead of just doing it naturally like animals do. When a tiger goes and kills a gazelle, they're not evil. Okay, they're not
Right.
putting any
It's
conscious
just
thought
survival.
into.
They have to eat.
Right. And that's the difference here. The reason that somebody like Goku or Vegeta aren't necessarily born evil, despite the fact that they're violent, destructive creatures, is because they don't have that consciousness yet that Vegeta is embracing here. They don't have that evil consciousness that Vegeta has developed here. Vegeta has it's not just his nature. He's allowed his nature to infect his consciousness and embrace his consciousness to the point that he wants to do those things that part of his nature calls him to do, and embraces it
Right.
and enjoys
Yep.
it. So
You nailed it. You nailed it. And the metaphor for him allowing his consciousness his ego to conquer his consciousness is the Babidi curse, if you want to call it that.
yeah,
It's the Babidi spell, if you want to say that, which he feels like he needed. But to be honest with you, it's actually even more pathetic, because Goku even realizes, like, dude, you weren't strong enough to beat me. So you, like we talked about earlier, you took a PED, you cheated by having Babidi give you a power boost, because you still couldn't fuck with me.
yeah,
And look at all the shit you've done. You've killed hundreds of people now. The mission's endangered. If Goku and Vegeta stopped dicking around, they could have killed Babidi, Dabura, and gotten the fuck out of there and back to the tournament and been done with the shit.
yep.
But
He wasn't.
then the
That's
story would
another
have been
thing.
over.
That's another thing. He's not approaching this fight as a martial artist. He's approaching this fight as a Saiyan warrior who wants to kill their opponent in order to feel satisfied with winning their match. And that's the reason that like Vegeta's arc is so important, because it isn't until he embraces that martial arts sportsman-like mentality that he really completes his character arc. So
Yeah, which we are going to talk about that in the coming streams, because the Buu saga, like it or not, is the most important arc for Vegeta's character, because
yeah,
that's when it actually gets there. Justin says, wait, I just realized maybe Kanye's most recent controversy, Babidi made him a Majin like he did Vegeta, Majin Kanye. I'll tell you this, the M on Kanye's forehead does not stand for Majin. It's more like manic depressive or mentally ill. That's what that M stands for. So there you go. Bindle said, "Are you going to stream Dragon Quest 1 remake this October?" I mean, you know the answer to that question. You know the answer to that question. So Dragon Ball is such a good fucking story. So Vegeta says, "Now I feel so much better." Goku says, "Do you believe that?" And we're going to talk more about that next time, as the Majin Buu ball is about to be released. So the Majin Vegeta fight is already over. Like I said, in the anime, that fight is way more hype and it's longer and it's, you know, a lot better. Manga version, I think, is too short, but I still like the character work that I do like. We're done. We are done.
It's a really great volume. I like I like that they focus on, it's a Vegeta centric volume. Like, I actually really like that they focus on Vegeta in this particular volume. And then later on, there's like a Gohan centric and then a Goku centric thing that goes on. But yeah, I really like that. Like Toriyama gave everybody their just due in this arc.
Yeah, man. It's the Buu saga has its problems. No one's going to deny that, but the Vegeta stuff to me is what I think makes it great. To be honest, though, when we're gonna get to that next time, but the Vegeta sacrifice to me, after that, I do think the manga gets a little bit less interesting. Not bad, just less interesting. However, I am curious to see how I'll look at it now, being an older guy. So we are out of here. Next time on the Mangalorian, Majin Buu is hatched. What's going to happen? Well, you already know, but we're going to break it down. Thanks for stopping by.
See you guys.
All right. Have a good one. Take care.